Why don't we start with our housekeeping?
Okay, hold
Kim?
on 1 second.
Sure.
Okay. Welcome committee members, liaisons, and members of the public to the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission meeting. Thank you for joining us. We are using Zoom with the goal to foster a more inclusive environment and an effective meeting. If you would like to comment during the meeting, please use the raise hand feature. Please utilize this tool to virtually indicate that you would like to speak in order to help the chair facilitate the discussion. A friendly reminder, this is a video conference meeting and please be aware of the surroundings behind you. All LSTFC and committee meetings will be recorded and posted to the State Bar's website. Zoom captioning is available. To enable, select live transcript at the bottom of your Zoom screen, then select enable transcript. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Kim. Why don't we do roll call?
Great. Connolly?
Present.
Asaraf?
Present.
Alakani?
Present.
Ball? Blakemore?
Here.
Campbell?
Present.
Escobedo? Galkin?
Here.
Gonzalez? Huang?
Here.
Oh, sorry, Tony, we can't count you towards, because you're not a notice location. Sorry. Iskin? King?
Here.
Klein?
Here.
Cruz? Lee? Mahoney? Milrod?
Present.
Morales?
Here.
Pryor?
Here.
Sandville? Vargas? 11 present, 10 absent. We have quorum. Let me do our advisors. Justice Rodriguez?
Here.
Judge Seligman? Judge Yang? Yeah. And I saw the liaison, Selena. Is Melody or Laura on?
Hi, Laura's here. Melanie's out today.
Okay, great. Thank you, Laura.
And I'm here. I'm not sure if I was muted.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Judge Seligman.
Hi, Joan. This is Efrain Escobedo. Sorry
Oh,
for
great. Thank
late
you.
to roll call, but I'm here.
Great. Let me just log you. Give me a second. Okay, great. And we have State Bar staff, so I'll turn it back over to you, Erica.
Great, thanks. So for today, I'm going to do public comment like on each agenda item, just because we have some meaty topics. And I know we've received some public comment on at least one of the agenda items. So having said that, we'll turn to the consent calendar. Is there any public comment on any issue on the consent calendar? Kim or other staff, is there any hands raised on that?
I see 2 hands raised, right, Kim?
Oh.
And one of them,
Sorry, I'll let the first person speak. I was on mute. Sorry.
and I was going to say Danielle is the other one, is our staff. So that's a heads up. I think she's going to say the pooling. I gave Erica
right
about pulling that 3.4 from the consent.
Yes, sorry, I should have flagged that 3.4 we're going to need to pull off of consent because there's some updates on it. But
So the one
I'm happy to do public comment, but sorry, Kim, let me just say, we'll limit it to 3 minutes, okay? So the first person can go ahead.
Hi, this is Joyce Lubeck. I don't know if, I'm not sure why my camera isn't working. I apologize. And I wanted to comment on the IOLTA distribution. Is this the right moment?
No, IOLTA distribution is
okay.
further down. This is our consent calendar. No
Okay.
problem. Happy to hear from you when we get to that agenda item though. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Okay.
Yeah. Any others? I see Selena, you have your hand raised.
Sure, my comment is very brief. I just want to thank the members of the Eligibility and Budget Committee. There were a lot of discussion items that have made it to the consent calendar because they did such a great job and staff did such a great job discussing it. So I just wanted to lodge my support of how seriously that committee took all of these issues.
Great, thanks for the shout out. And I will echo that, that the EB&R committee kind of handles our core competency as it is, and I am very impressed with them doing that work. Any other comments? Okay.
There's no other comments, Erica. I'll move the consent calendar except for 3.4, which I understand you're removing.
Yes, we're going to remove 3.4, so it'll be 3.1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, and 7. Okay. So we have a motion from Catherine. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Who was that? Was that Angie?
Yeah.
Great, thanks, Angie. Why don't we take our vote?
Great. Okay. Alakani? Alakani?
Yes.
Thank you. Ball? Blakemore?
Yes.
Campbell?
Yes.
Escobedo?
Yes.
Galkin?
Yes.
Gonzalez? Huang? Iskin?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Cruz? Lee? Mahoney? Milrod?
Yes.
Morales?
Yes.
Pryor?
Yes.
Sandville? Vargas? Alsaroff?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is not tallying. I have to vote. I'm sorry. I have to count. Sorry. My roll sheet isn't adding up.
No problem.
Thirteen yeses, 0 nos, motion passes. Crystal, could you just get me an updated vote sheet so that works? Thanks.
All right, thank you all. Duan and Danielle, do we want to talk about 3.4 now, or are we taking that off of the agenda entirely?
We're gonna talk about it, but my suggestion is to wait until after all the substantive, all the other, hold on, sorry, pull up my agenda. Is to wait after to go after 4.5.
Okay, that's fine with me. So why don't we get into kind of the meaty stuff of today? So we'll move over to 4.1, which is about approving the commission's 5-year strategic plan. Before we get into discussion and presentation, let's see if there's any public comments on the strategic plan.
And while we wait, Kim, could you elevate our 2 consultants, Eric and Cassandra, from the attending pool? And I do not see any hands raised for public comments, but
Okay.
give Kim a second, sorry, to promote Eric and Cassandra.
Not a problem. Thank you.
I'm not seeing Cassandra, or am I overlooking?
I don't see, Eric, does she have the link or do I need to?
She does. Let me reach out to her really quick.
I did say to her 12:15, she might be just right on time, that's why.
Eric, is it possible, can you get started on the presentation while we're
Yeah,
waiting
I
for
see that
Cassandra?
Cassandra just joined too,
Oh, okay,
so we should be able to promote her.
great.
Yeah, let me go ahead and pull this up. Yeah. We have Cassandra now.
Sorry, Zoom wanted me to, so I apologize.
No worries.
And Eric, I was gonna say, would you mind introducing you and Cassandra? Just because we have a lot of members of the public who might not know.
Yeah, of course. Cassandra, you want to kick us off?
I am Cassandra Pai. I am president of Lucas Public Affairs. LPA has supported both the larger state bar as well as the Trust Fund Commission over the past couple of years with both really, frankly, with mostly strategic planning, even though as a firm, we do a lot of work in the communications and public affairs space. And so this is a process and a methodology that we use with both public and private sector clients. And because of my background, having come from the private sector, but also having done some political work and served inside the Schwarzenegger administration, that you kind of use that experience and exposure to help me think about how to help organizations develop strategic plans. And I am joined by my most trusted associate, Eric, who's going to do the lion's share of our presentation today. And I'll let Eric introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm Eric Saldivar. I'm an account supervisor with Lucas Public Affairs. I've worked with a lot of both public and private sector clients and have been really enjoying this process working with all of you and all of the stakeholders to pull this plan together. So I think we're ready to go ahead and just dive in.
Yep. Okay. All right. Erica, did you
do you
do
want
your
to
lead in? Erica, did I miss the lead in? I'm sorry, because I came on late.
No, we were sort of just getting started. I
Okay.
guess I would just start with initially saying I'm very excited about this. We did a lot of outreach, as you guys all saw in my kind of cover letter to this. I think this, strategic plan really captures both the aspirations for the commission more broadly, and also reinforces the goals that we have both under the statute and just in our role in the community. And so I'm very excited that we can present this to you all, and I hope that the commission as a whole agrees, and I look forward to showing you all what the results have been from this process. We started this back in January. Well, we started it much before that, but we came together as a group in January. And so I think this plan is a great articulation of a lot of the goals that we put together in that February meeting. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. My part of my morning and the reason I've been running late all day is that I've been doing a series of interviews, in-depth interviews for another commission, the commission that represents the API community. And I was describing to the call I was just on to one of the commissioners how this process works. And here's the slide that sort of defines or describes the way we like to do it. And so we started this process. Some of you will remember, not everyone, but some of you will remember that we started this process with an initial survey of commissioners, trustees, and staff. We then held what was I believe, the first time the commission had been in person, either for a while or for many, it was the first time meeting each other for the first time in person, and that was a planning workshop that was well attended, had real great engagement, and as I said, it would help us sort of, pull a lot of information and ideas sort of into a good, organized, sort of strategic set sets of thoughts. But we also, as a part of that process, pulled together a working group, a subset of all of you. So we didn't have to pull this group together every time we talk through sort of the stages of our work. And that working group has done a great job of helping us stay focused and stay on track. From that came a mission statement and a purpose statement. And that was one of the things that you all said in that conversation when we met in person in Los Angeles that you wanted to see. We then went out and fielded a survey of more than 100 grantees and other stakeholders, again, just to get as much broad thinking as we could. We shared some of the initial feedback and in our initial planning framework, in March with all of you, and then went back, circled back, and conducted a series of in-depth interviews. Those were about 30 minutes long, some a little bit longer, with legislative staff, members of the Judicial Council, grantees, and nonprofit organizations. I did the lion's share of those interviews, and they were one-on-one, they were thoughtful, but again, what we thought would happen happened. We heard a lot of similar feedback, a lot of themes that were around some of the same issues and strategies that we wound up with. And so that got us to the point where we are now, where we worked with staff to develop some very practical, but also workable implementation steps to support the strategies. And so it was this word is overused, but it's true. It was a really robust effort to collect as much feedback and input as we could from a lot of people, from all of you, from staff, from stakeholders, and most especially from your customers. And that's got us to a very good place, we think. So Eric, let's keep going. And then Eric's going to start with the survey.
So we're going to give some high-level overviews of what we heard from, key stakeholders.
Yep.
As Cassandra said, we started this off with a survey that was sent to all of the commission's grantees. It was mostly multiple choice, but there was some opportunities for them to kind of fill in with other comments. A lot of what we saw here, we actually ended up hearing kind of more in depth about in our interviews, but let me walk through just kind of a high level of, what we heard from the grantees. So the first question we asked was really to get a perception of what these grantees see right now as the Legal Service Trust Fund Commission's top functions and responsibilities. No surprise, we saw grant making as the number one with, more than 94% of people answering that. And we also saw that there is a current view that the commission is responsible for some of this advocacy work for trying to get more increased funding and trying to get more policies in place that support, greater access to legal services in California. Moving on from that, we wanted to see, of those, where do folks think that the commission should really be putting more kind of attention and resources into that they think, might not be the main focus right now. And this kind of informed, a couple of the places that we arrived at in our strategic plan. One of those being the number one answer of looking for or advocating for increased funding and policies that support greater access to legal services in California. You'll see that in kind of the fifth strategy that we'll walk through when we go through the plan. And then also this idea of increasing, the commission's work with other organizations and kind of sharing best practices and feedback, just really boosting kind of channels of communication and kind of convening more of these conversations with key stakeholders and others in the space, just to make sure that we are hearing them and kind of improving upon what we're doing based on what others in the legal aid space are doing as well. Another question we asked, and this is kind of around making sure, because I know one of the things we discussed was transparency was a big word that came from the survey of the commissioners and that first workshop that we held. So we asked, what specifically do grantees want to see from the commission that would help them better understand what the commission does and how effective this work is. So as you can see, there was a lot of desire to hear more about the availability and the sources of funding for grants made by the commission. And there was also this one around really illustrating the impact of these. So kind of, where we're reaching and how we're reaching these programs and kind of what this funding is allowing us to do. So those were the top two. Obviously had, a little more spread across this one, but gives us a good idea of what folks want to see to better understand the commission's work. And then this one was kind of helping us build on this list of, who we really should be partnering with, asking, what types of organizations and groups we should be reaching out to more as we look to convene some of these conversations around supporting greater access to legal aid in California. Obviously other philanthropic organizations and grant makers were one that folks said we should definitely prioritize. But another interesting one was elected officials having a bit more interaction with that audience, more communication there, and seeing what they can provide and what we can provide to them that will support, better efforts and better outcomes for the legal aid work that the commission does. From there, I'll pass it off to Cassandra to talk a bit more about the in-depth interviews that we conducted, and you'll see a lot of similar themes from kind of what we just walked through, but Cassandra, take it away.
You got it. So leave this slide up for a few seconds so you can really get a sense of the diversity, the depth, and the breadth of who we wound up speaking with. And again, these interviews were about 30 minutes long, one-on-one, and we asked the same series of questions to each of the folks that we spoke with. And I will say, and I say this all the time, one reason, there's several reasons why we do in-depth interviews. As Eric said, we want to definitely make sure we're still sort of following the right pathway, and we're looking for similarities and themes. That was absolutely one of the outcomes. But the other reason why you do it is every now and then, there'll be a really big idea or a great idea that's sort of outside the middle. Didn't see a lot of that. I'll come back to that. But the third reason we do these, and the reason we do the surveys as well, is because people like to be asked. And it's really important, particularly for the folks who are doing this work on the ground, to feel like this commission is listening to them. And I did get that feedback across the board from folks at the top or the end of the conversation. Just thank you so much for taking the time to hear from us. And so I think that's just a really important part of this work, and it's appreciated. So I want to be sure the commissioners know that. Let me go to the next slide. So there were a number of things that were noted, certainly as strengths and areas of improvement. When I call out two very important things, and we heard these themes in the longer survey, but we also heard these two themes primarily these two themes in the in-depth interviews. The first was just this notion of a more streamlined set of reporting application requirements. Smaller organizations that have less staff resources, or someone said to me in one interview, there are two of us, and if one of us is out sick and I don't make a deadline, that puts us in a bind. Those kinds of examples came up a lot. And so just what we heard is that current requirements are a little bit difficult and can be challenging for smaller organizations that have fewer staff resources. And so just some kind of addressing of the streamlining in the reporting and the application process would be helpful. The other thing that I thought made a lot of sense, if I'm honest, is several folks asked us to think about funding and funding streams over multiple years, as opposed to one-time, one-year funding allocations. And this is something, at least that I've read, is going on is a trend also in the philanthropic space. Again, it goes back to having a smaller staff, but if you got a smaller staff and you really literally only know that you've got funds that you've got to use in 1 year, the grantees say that multiple year funding is going to give them more certainty. It's going to allow them the opportunity to plan and better shape their strategies, both short-term and long-term, in serving the communities that are in need. And so those were two keys that I wanted to pull out. Let's go to the next slide. There we go. And the only other thing I want to say on this slide is commonly call out two things. One, commonly named organizations to partner with that have similar missions, but also to help improve our efforts and outcomes were listed here. And then I'll go to the next slide, Eric. And again, this goes to communication and just making sure that we highlight success stories, which someone said is a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy, so to speak, that if you report on success, that gives you an opportunity to potentially impact funding in local communities, which I thought was a good observation. And then there was this theme around just two-way communication between the commission and grantees and grant applicants. I'll let you take that in for a second. All right, and then one more.
I think that's it.
That's it. And so I'm going to pause there just to look, and I'm going to move the screen around just to see if I have any questions or feedback on the interviews or on the survey. Okay, I just wanted to be sure. Down, scroll all the way through. Okay. So one of the things we also heard really up front in that initial conversation with the commission is a desire to have a mission statement or something that sort of defines the purpose of this work. And so we took what we heard from you in those initial conversations, but also spent some time with the working group and what we heard in some of the feedback and survey, and this is what we've come up with. And I don't like it when people read out loud to me, so I'll let you all take that in.
And just so folks know, this is the same mission and purpose statement that we showed earlier this year, the last time we walked through kind of an update on the strategic planning process.
And one thing I will say before we go into strategies is certainly the last thing we want Erica to do is to have to manage a conversation about some wordsmithing here and there. But I think the working group got through this and looked at it and said they felt like it very much reflected what we'd like to do, and also, really defining that purpose in the purpose statement. So I think this got to a really good place. And again, I'll just scroll through and see if I see any hands or any one that wants to give any feedback there. But I think this got to a really good place. Congratulate you all for this part. Okay. So let's get into the meat of it. You're going to see that we broke this presentation up into strategies. And so there are 5. You will see that we then provided a vision. The strategy is what is the what, the vision is what does it look like. And then we had a really good opportunity to have Dewan and the staff weigh in on how we implement those strategies and that vision. And so we're going to walk through each. I can certainly pause for questions with each one. I'm going to have Dewan weigh in on implementation steps, but let's go ahead and get started. I will read the strategy, but I'll let you take a look at it. But the strategy one is just to increase access to legal aid to advance the mission. Straightforward, simple, and there are 5-year strategies underneath it. And again, you will see language, you will see as a part of each strategy, many of the ideas and comments and feedback that came out of those initial conversations with all of you, but then also came out in both the survey work and the interviews.
Patience has her hand up. Cassandra.
I'm so sorry.
I just want to talk a little bit about the process. I was on the committee that helped make this happen, and it was an incredibly collaborative and iterative and useful process that included multiple rounds of circulated drafts, multiple rounds of incorporating comments, a bunch of meetings. I can't remember now how many, but it was a satisfying process to participate in. And I want to especially thank staff who were the ones that figured out, like, what do we mean when we say implementation? And so I just want to give them a shout out and a thank you. So, and thank you, of course, to Cassandra and Eric.
You stole my thunder. I'm kidding. I was going to save that to the end, but you're absolutely right. And again, we want this to be, this document needs to have behind it a lot of credibility. And what Patience just described is a process that gives you that. You can hold this document up and be proud of it, because it was not my doing. It was not Erica's doing. It was not Patience's doing. It wasn't even Eric's doing. It was a collective effort of gathering as much input and feedback from the folks who we needed to hear from to get this done. So let's go to the implement, but thank you, Patience. I'm just kidding. Thank you for that. Let's go to the implementation steps on this one. There you go. And Dewan, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Thank you, Cassandra. And I just want to talk about procedurally, because you saw kind of the draft mission statement. So procedurally, the mission statement and the strategic plan will be voted together. We can separate them if you like, but if there are no kind of controversy, then voting them together at the end makes sense in one swoop. And so assuming that the mission statement passes, we want to use that as a here's the commission, this is our new mission statement to kind of promote the commission's work. And this implementation step, I would say this is actually the easiest one. You'll see ones later on that are heavy lift. This is the one that we're promoting ourselves, and we're saying, look at the work that we've done the last 8 months to kind of get here. So we'll share it widely with all our grantees, everybody that was interviewed. We'll try to, again, incorporate it on the State Bar website and where relevant. Again, this isn't a heavy lift for us, this piece.
That's great. Thank you.
And Catherine has her hand up.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Sorry. Go ahead, Catherine.
Thank you. Thanks for everyone who worked on it. I just have an overarching question. So it looks to me like there's a separate vision statement for each of the strategies, I think, but I didn't see an overarching vision statement. At least that's when I looked. I provided a bunch of comments yesterday and or the day before, maybe, because that's what you had all asked for. So like on page 6, there's a vision for the accountability part, and there's a different vision for the first strategy.
Yeah.
Like the vision for the accountability part is the impact of the commission's work is understood by internal and external audiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see the overarching vision for what is the future we envision that all of these different strategies will, that's the cohesive part. And then I suggested like some ways to think about that. So maybe I'm missing something. I mean,
let me try this one, Catherine, because we did see your comments, and I should have thanked you as well for and you'll see a couple of word changes in 1 or 2 of these slides to reflect your feedback. But one of the things that typically happens when we set out a strategic document the visions do vary per strategy. They do look a little different per strategy. And so it made sense to us to say, if we want to do A looks different than B, and the vision's going to look different. That's how that's the feedback I'd give you. So I think if there's a desire, for sort of a long-term vision statement, I suppose that there's no downside to it. I think, sort of bigger picture for us was to be sure we got that mission statement right, because your strategic focus is going to change over time. Strategies are going to change over time, and with each strategy comes sort of a specific vision. And so that's how we thought about it. But we did get that feedback and appreciate it. And again, I think we should get through through this piece. I think we should address, be sure we're looking at the vision for each of the strategies. And if you all decide as a commission, you want to come back and sort of collect that into a vision statement, I don't see any downside to that. But for the purposes of today's discussion, I think, the way we've typically done this work is to have a strategy, have a vision that matches that strategy. And then, what are the implementation steps? Sorry, Erica, go ahead. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. So one thing I did want to just say is in some ways, I think the mission and the purpose statements kind of serve that overarching vision that Catherine, you're mentioning, because I think our mission statement really is sort of the guidance and the kind of stake in the ground by which we can refer back to. And then our purpose is in some ways, I think, what we sort of envision longer term, right? About what is it that the commission is going to do more broadly in order to accomplish its goals. So again, if the majority of the commission would like something more than that, I'm amenable to it, but I did want to just flag that we have this kind of mission and purpose statement, and it seems to me like those kind of take that, over that those sort of address the overarching, guidance for us going forward. But yeah,
I think that's
so
right.
that is just my feedback.
Yep. So, Dawn, is there anything you want to add on this implementation steps on strategy 1, or can we?
No, I don't have anything else to add on this.
Okay, Eric, let's go to strategy 2. And again, I think this will sort of hopefully make the case that I just made. The vision is going to look different for each strategy. So the second strategy is serving communities, increase access by serving communities more effectively and efficiently. And the vision there is that we're recognized as effective, efficient, equitable, both internally and externally, as we provide access to opportunities to support legal service.
And you'll note some changes in red from the version that you all received posted on Friday. This was to address some of the feedback we had gotten. And it was, a good point around, not taking away from the commission's maiden purpose of grant making and making sure that the language here does reflect that. So in red, you'll see a couple of changes to the words, both in the description and in the organizational policy and system change section, to kind of make sure that is incorporated.
Thanks, Eric. And Catherine, that was directly in response to some of the feedback we got from you. So thank you for that. Let's go to the next slide and let Dawn weigh in on this one.
So I'm not going to go through each bullet point, but
Sure.
This is where the meat of our work is starting to kind of ramp up. So we heard a lot, as you recall, in our in-person meeting, the need to kind of formulate a working group. I think we're calling it infrastructure, but we can change the name, really to delve into kind of the structure of the commission, as we've all discussed at length. The commission looks the same way it's looked for 40 years, though the work has changed and the volume has changed. And I think the commission's responsibility has changed too. An example is that for 40 years, the commission has been reviewing grant applications alongside staff. Now that we have such increased funding and different funding streams, does that make sense? and I don't know if I can answer that today. I mean, I have an inkling of that, but we'd all decided, and we heard from, I think almost every commissioner when we met in person, that that least question needs to be explored. And then this working group will be able to kind of delve deeper, to kind of come up with some models, and then we'll bring it back to the working group as some recommendations. But this is a heavy lift, and we are hoping to start that fairly soon. And it'll require more than several meetings throughout the year. The other thing that's like already happening in the office that we want to kind of do more of is keeping abreast of like trends and innovations in legal services, and bringing it back again to the commission and the greater legal aid community, and seeing where there are kind of nexus to kind of increase funding, do work to support the grantees. And so we'd like to do more of that. And we've heard from, I think, both commissioners that that was a good place for the commission to be, and also from grantees that they would like staff and the commission to kind of invest a little bit more time on that. Related to and when we met in person is a lot of discussion around evaluation. As you all know, we collect a lot of data through the Trust Fund Commission. We've done some work with that data, a lot we haven't. So we want to launch a working group to kind of really just look at the entire framework and really think about, does that make sense, or do we really want to do an overhaul of that framework? And you know, with keeping in mind that we recognize there's a lot of reporting requirements for programs. So where possible, really shave down and really kind of think about, like, why are we collecting data, for what purpose, and what the impact is. And if we're collecting data that's not kind of serving that, we might want to drop it off. And so we want to do kind of just an overhaul, or at least revisit and see what our reporting framework should look like. And then I'll stop there.
That's good, though. Thank you. All right, let's go to the next slide. There we go. So this goes to accountability, transparency, visibility, awareness. And this is probably, I'll just express my biases, my favorite, because I'm a communicator, as you know, by trade. But I think this whole notion of the impact of the commission's work being understood both internally and externally throughout the state, really, really important. Why? Because it drives interest in the work, helps you get feedback for the work, and also obviously helps you continue to expand the service that you provide to community. So again, you know, this vision looks a little different than the others because of this particular strategy, but there's the 5-year pieces around it. You will notice that we pulled in DEI and equitable access because you asked us to, and we heard that a lot in the survey work. And let's go ahead. Sorry, Eric.
Sorry, I was muted. So is the effectiveness and accountability point on this slide different than the evaluations point that we looked at on the previous slide?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think the accountability piece, I'm trying to pull up my other, sorry. I think the other is more about organizational processes. I think this is more about visibility and awareness. And if you want to go back to the prior slide, Eric, really quickly, just to, again, and keep going. There you go. I think that the reason I like, again, the reason I like the vision statements is that that's the vision on strategy 2, whereas strategy 3, it really is making sure the work is understood. So 1 is about, you know, recognizes doing its work well, but, excuse me, strategy 3 is more about making sure that the work is understood. That makes sense?
I guess so.
Okay.
I like to think of this as like the communications piece. Like that's the other one is like the how are we doing it, and this is then us communicating, amplifying the how we're doing it.
Yeah, I see 1 is sort of operations and 1 is communications. Is
it operations of the commission? Because what I tend to obsess about is, are we getting good results for money? So are the plan, are the funding streams actually reducing homelessness, for example? So where is that? Is that in strategy 2 or strategy 3, or is it somewhere else?
I think it's a little bit of both. 3, you'll see the language here is on accountability, and that's where the improved data collection comes in. It's that part of that, obviously is to help us kind of demonstrate the work that we're doing, but in improving data collection and tracking, that'll also help with actually evaluating the effectiveness of the commission. So there's a little bit of both in there. It is kind of taking a hard look at, or finding ways to present that data, but also making sure we have the data and doing different things to collect that, so that A, we understand the case we're making better, and B, we can better make the case.
And Eric, I would say both Erics, I would say strategy 5 probably comes closer to what you're asking for. So we'll get there and then we'll circle back with you to be sure you feel satisfied. Thank you. Okay, so you want to go to the next slide on 3? There we go. Dewan?
Yeah, so this is the development, this is the communications, like really developing a communication plan. It's not really, to me, yes, it's about amplifying the commission's work, but really it's about uplifting the work of our grantees and the communities that they're serving, as a means to kind of like leverage for more funding or more policies that will help our grantees and the communities that they serve. So this is also, it touches on the data collection, updating the website, which is a little bit stale and can be more dynamic and interesting. And then also related to this, which we've actually started doing, we are launching a training and technical assistance initiative, and that's to help grantees with both compliance issues, but also it is beyond compliance issues too.
Patience, please.
I just want to add with respect to that last bullet point, that's a high priority for me personally. And my hope is that this yields templates, it yields streamlined processes, that it's done collaboratively with the grantees. I'm really excited to see it in writing, like the possibility of making this happen. So again, thank you, staff.
Thank you. Let's go to the next slide. And the vision here, make sure the work reflects the diverse, wide-ranging legal aids and needs of low-income and underserved Californians, simply put. And again, we heard you loud and clear, and certainly heard the voices of the folks doing the work on the ground loud and clear about this being a priority. Let's go to implementation steps. Go on.
Right. So a lot of this we've actually already started, but I'll highlight a couple things. Later this year in September, we are actually collaborating with Black and the Access to Justice Commission to host a statewide convening of other state agencies in California. We have, I think, over a dozen invites now out to different various state agencies. And really the goal of this kind of in-person meeting is to kind of foster relationships so that we can have an opportunity to collaborate with other state agencies. They can collaborate with the end goal of unlocking more legal aid funding. This was done very successfully at the national level. So we're taking that, the national model, which is called LAIR, and we're trying to do a very small version of that. And we're not actually calling it a version of that, but we're trying to do a meeting just so we can start to kind of have these conversations. And we've already gotten really great feedback. So part of kind of the outreach with those state agencies, right before this commission meeting, Elizabeth, Chris, and myself were in conversation with another state agency. We invited them, but there's also maybe with that state agency some opportunity to unlock some funding. So we're already seeing some fruits of that labor reverberate back into kind of results, and we think that will just be a really it'll be really great. We've done some of that. Like I have to say, for a lot of these implementation steps, we've done it very piecemeal in this office, very ad hoc, but this gives us a chance to kind of get really like think about what the implementation steps is and the strategy is, and really like not be just reactive, but be responsive and think about things in the next year and the next 5 years and how we're going to roll things out. So it's just been really great to go through this process and then have the whole staff kind of be involved, because I have to say with these implementation steps, we had, office-wide meetings to brainstorm, then each of the supervisors and the senior staff gave feedback. And a lot of these points were not drafted by me, but they are really like on the grounds. The staff that's doing that are drafting these bullet points and giving kind of input on what should happen. So it's just been really great. Another thing that I do want to point out is the second one, hosting conferences and convenings. Again, we've done that in a really ad hoc manner. Last year, as you all know, we did a convening for programs around legal technology and kind of racial justice. This year, our office is doing Pathways to Justice, which is a conference that we do every several years with Judicial Council and LAC. But we don't bring it back to the commission to kind of think about strategically. So we're glad that now it's part of the commission's strategic plan, so that we can be really thoughtful in kind of the conferences and the convenings that we bring together and why we're doing it. I think that's the most important thing. Again, not to be reactive, but to really think about it with limited resources. Where are we utilizing our resources to the best? And I'll point out one more. Is this developing external relationships with like other funders and collaborators? Again, I think there are a few of us in the office are doing it ad hoc. Myself and Elizabeth, we go to lots of events, but again, we want to really make this into something that we report back to the commission, something that we eventually utilize the commission's expertise to kind of foster those relationships with us. And then going back to that recruitment and retention of commissioners, really being really thoughtful in terms of recruiting commissioners that can bring something into that space and contribute. So some of this, though it might be predominantly like staff led or staff done, we do want to get to a place where we are using you all, your expertise, your connections to, again, bolster the work of the commission with the end goal of bringing more resources and funding to our legal aid community.
Any comments? Okay. All right. And then fifth and final goes to increasing access. And the vision here is that we are effectively reaching more low-income and underserved Californians with more resources. And Eric, not my Eric Giskin, I want to just call that out and see if that addresses one of your comment earlier. And we'll go to implementation steps and let you see that in a second, but I just wanted to, that is also the expansion of the work. Go ahead.
Yeah, it does seem to. Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to be sure. And then let's go to implementation steps. For everybody done? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go so fast. Everybody okay? All right. Go ahead, Dewan.
So for the implementation steps, again, we want to partner with LAC and legal aid community really closely to kind of think about, elevate what are their priorities and bring them to the commission, so that when you all are doing kind of your decision making for like scoring rubrics and stuff, that it's at the forefront. This first bullet point really we had to update you all that there's some legislation that we're trying to work on with LAC to pass 6033 that will open up, unlock a little bit of the justice gap funding so that, to more kind of urgent and like emerging issues. So if that passes, and even if that doesn't pass, we want to work with LAC closely to, again, regularly survey our grantees on priorities, and then do really like, again, formalize what we've been doing, but have report backs to the commission so that you all can understand kind of what's happening in the community and use that information to make funding decisions, to like create priorities for funding. And then also as part of that, we want, again, the training technical assistance initiative, and we want to, again, weave in DEI to our grant making. We want to be able to come up with strategies to increase pro bono legal services in California. So this all falls under this implementation step.
And I will just add, oh, go ahead, Ephraim, please.
No, Cassandra, why don't you add? I thought we were done with the previous.
No, I was
summary
just going to
comment.
add that this was, I recall consistently hearing some of these recommendations that are in Dewan's implementation steps. So go ahead. Sorry, it was just a quick comment, please.
No, thank you. That actually was helpful to round it out. Just wanted to say thanks for the great presentation. It's great to see I had a chance and privilege to serve on the work group. And thank you all for being so inclusive of everyone's thoughts. I just wanted to also thank Erica for her leadership, kind of making us all feel welcome and included so we can share some thoughts. Seeing this in its final form, I do just want to make two comments. One is the wisdom of the working group and a lot of the feedback we got from stakeholders and also from our own retreat with all the board, I think really comes to light when if you look at all the 5 strategy steps, the efficiency, effectiveness, and the accountability and focus on data are critical and complement the other ones around engaging stakeholders, convening, looking for public-private partnerships, because if we don't achieve the strategies around effectiveness, accountability, reporting, it's very hard to engage external stakeholders who are trying to understand what we do, why they should partner. So I just had that reflection and seeing it all come together, that there's a lot of wisdom in these strategies and how they complement each other. And then the other last point, and we may talk about it later, is in just hearing the ambitious implementation, Dwan, it'll be good to talk about how the commission or maybe the executive committee can be a thought partner in implementation to just keep up the good communication versus sort of waiting a whole year and seeing how things went for you in implementation.
Right.
Thank you.
That's really great feedback. And one of the things I was going to say that doesn't always happen when we do this work is that we get the kind of detail in those implementation steps that you're calling out, Ephraim. And what it does is give you something, a list to measure yourself by on a quarterly basis, on every 6 months, and certainly by the end of the year. You have now got a checklist for Dewan and the team to take you through and say, we're at this phase on this one, and we're done with this one. And it's just a really good way to check your work. So I applaud you for that, because when we asked the team to take a look at some implementation steps, we thought we'd get 1 or 2 bullets, but we really got some very thorough and very thoughtful work by the team on implementation. So I think that's just going to be remarkable in helping to guide your work going forward. So before we close out, I want to thank my Eric for doing a lot of the lion's share of the work here, but I also really want to thank Erica and the members of the working group who kept us honest and kept us focused, but also provided some good feedback so that we were able to pull this into a document that made sense for all of you. And I do want to thank those who contributed to in every step of the way. And I guess the last thing I'll say is I hope you all get a chance to meet in person again soon, because I enjoyed the energy in the room in that first gathering, and just really enjoyed watching you all get to work together. And I wish you much luck in this work, and I hope we get to partner with you again. So thank you. And I'll just ask if there are any questions before we sign off.
Are there any hands raised? I can't see very well. No?
I don't see any hands raised. Oh, wait, we do have 1 hand raised.
Okay.
I think it's from the public comment pool. Kim, would you mind?
Great.
They should be able to talk now.
Hit unmute twice. Hi, this is Antonia Moore from the Justice and Diversity Center of the Bar Association of San Francisco. I'm just a little concerned about the sign off. Are we going to continue to talk about the IOLTA?
Oh, yeah, no, we are. That Cassandra just
I
mentioned.
want to miss my chance.
Her
Okay,
piece was
thank
done.
you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hours of meeting.
Yeah, Cassandra and her team don't need to stay for the whole thing, but we have plenty of time that we'll still deal with that. Thanks, Antonia.
Yeah.
Are there any, so and I see Eric, yeah, go ahead. If there's comments or questions on what we're doing on the strategic plan part.
Yeah, so do we have implementation committees established, or are they going to be established?
Yeah, so this is, I think, as part of sort of our strategy 2, the idea is that we're going to try to put together an infrastructure working group. And that working group would be essentially a committee that would sort of come up with how would we implement, what's the new structure for the commission. And that's one of the things we're going to try to do. Dawn?
Yeah, and I think just procedurally, because people might be a little bit lost. So because that's Cassandra and Eric have done their presentation, and I think we could discuss more if there's things that you want us to tweak, but the working group and Erica and myself, I think we would like, if there's consensus or appetite, is to vote on the strategic plan and the mission statement and approve that, and so we can get to the work.
Yeah. Efrain?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want in any way shorten discussion, but I'm definitely ready. I'm excited about the framework, and so definitely ready if you're ready to entertain a motion to move that we adopt this framework, and then maybe in the future talk more about next steps. What's the next phase once we have a framework?
Yeah, absolutely. I think once we adopt this, then the real hard work begins, which is we have to actually like do it. So, and our goal, I think, is to have this as like our touchstone as we go forward. So, Efrain, are you formally making a motion?
I'm formally moving for us to approve our strategies and the great work.
And the mission statement, both? Oops, who seconded?
Mission statement, yeah, the strategic framework, mission statement, purpose, and the strategies associated.
Great. And who seconded? Vanetta, great.
Great. Okay, I'll do roll call.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Tammy raised her hand, sorry.
Oh, Tammy? Do you have a comment before we vote?
No, I was trying to get joined as a panelist, so I couldn't.
I'm sorry about that, Tammy.
I've been listening, but I've been listening not as a panelist, so I'm here, and that's all I needed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right,
Erica,
why don't we take our
roll call?
Yes, please.
Okay. Alikani?
Yes, great work.
Thank you. Ball? Blakemore?
Yes.
Campbell?
Yes.
Escobedo?
Yes.
Galkin?
Yes.
Gonzalez? Huang? Iskin?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Cruz? Lee? Mahoney?
Yes.
Milrod?
Yes.
Morales? Pryor?
Yes.
Sandville? Vargas? Al-Sarraf?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
13 yes, 0 no's, motion passes.
Great. Thank you all so much. I'm really excited. Thank you. Big thank you to Cassandra and Eric and her team. Big thank you to the staff. You guys have done a ton of work on this. Of course, now we're just setting ourselves up for a lot more work, but I think it's going to be really productive. So thank you all. And thanks for all of the feedback and the participation in the surveys. Thanks to our grantees and members of the community for participating in this. I am super duper excited. So very cool and happy to see this go forward. All right. And if any of the commissioners want to be involved in any particular of the strategies or on the infrastructure working group or anything like that, please let Dawn know, please let me know, because we definitely have like our 5-year plan here. So if there's an area that you're interested in, let us know and we'll get started on that. All right. Now we're going to turn to our next kind of big meaty topic, which is the IOLTA distribution for 2025. Sorry, let me just find my agenda here. Great. And I'm going to turn this over to Dwan, Michael, and Heidi. Actually, before we have the presentation, if there's public comment, which I think there might be, I'd love to have people, again, limited to 3 minutes, share their public comment on this topic. Thank you.
And
Do
as
we
we
have
give
folks
people
that want
time
to share?
to kind of raise your hands, I do want to say I sent out a slew of public comments that came in through
Yes.
email. I hope everybody received it. We still are, they're still trickling in. So I think Kim and Shannon just sent over another one, maybe a half an hour ago. If we get more during the meeting, even if you after, we'll send them off so that you see them.
Great.
But you all get the gist of the public comments so far now. But yeah.
Yes. The other thing I would say is, Dawn, can we make sure we include all of those public comments in sort of like the minutes or something for this meeting, just so we have a record of them somewhere?
Sorry, can you say that one more time, Erica?
I was just going to say the written comments that came in, if we could like attach them to the minutes of the meeting.
Oh, I don't know if we usually do that. Can I check with protocol? Because there's
Sure. Okay.
There's like state bar protocols on how to do that. Let me just
No
check. If we
problem.
do that, then we'll do it. But typically, I don't think that we do.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever the rules are. All right. So folks who want to comment, Kim, I'll sort of defer to you on promoting them.
Okay, I'll allow the first person.
Okay, great.
So you should...
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. So hi, my name is Katie Furuyama, and I'm the Director of Institutional Partnerships at Asian Americans Advancing Justice Asian Law Caucus. We're grateful for IOLTA and EAF grant funding and the generous support toward our work to provide free legal services to low-income Asian American, Pacific Islander, and other immigrant communities. I'm here today to provide public comment on the 2025 IOLTA distribution decision and to urge the Commission to adopt option A. We appreciate the State Bar not wanting to overestimate revenue, but we believe that the projections are too conservative given that they're based on significant losses in the total amount of funding held in IOLTA accounts. We believe that option A, while still conservative, is most likely to be closest to the actual revenue for 2024 and will allow for a more generous distribution so that funds go to the legal services provider community as soon as possible and help us weather losses of funding that we're already experiencing. Like many others, Asian Law Caucus is currently facing a loss of one-time or temporary funding related to the pandemic and to violence experienced by Asian Americans. We believe that distributing the funds as soon as possible with a more flexible multi-year spending period would be the most helpful for service providers. It would allow us to maintain our current levels of services, prepare for an uncertain future funding environment, and most importantly, get legal services to the Californians who need them. Please vote to adopt option A. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Other public comment?
Hi there. Still haven't fixed my camera, but my name is Joyce
No
Lubeck.
problem.
And I'm the Development Director at Legal Services for Children in San Francisco. Thank you for the opportunity to comment today on the 2025 IOLTA distribution. It's probably no surprise to hear that we also express our support for option A. Legal Services for Children is facing significant funding gaps at the end of the year when the homelessness prevention funding expires and has not been renewed. We're also anticipating cuts to local government funding due to the state budget crisis. Option A will give us greater flexibility when we need it as we work to replace these funds. Thank you very much.
Thank you. More comments?
Hi, this
Antonia?
is Antonia. Yeah, thank you. I'm timely this time. I'm the director of Antonia Moore, Director of Pro Bono Legal Services for the Justice and Diversity Center of the Bar Association of San Francisco. And I am voting for also encouraging the commission to vote to distribute the maximum amount. And I believe that's option A. 2025 is going to be a very tough year for our organizations, projects, and programs, including our ABA award-winning legal advice and referral clinics, our tenant advocacy project, family law project, many others that provide low-income and underserved clients in the Bay Area with access to justice. Our local funding for legal services is being cut with the city of San Francisco facing low revenue and in an austerity posture. We are also, we've already cut a staff attorney based on VOCA cuts. So we've lost a DV staff attorney, which is resulting on us having to turn away domestic violence clients. But on top of the local budget crunch and the federal cuts, JDC is facing a huge drop in state bar funding from 24 to 25 that an increased IOLTA allocation would help alleviate. The governor's already cut our care court funding by 60%, leaving a huge gap to be filled by us, who elected to participate in the program at the governor's request. The big hit is also to our tenant advocacy project, which currently is assisting 136 people. Those 136 cases, that's 136 individuals who are being assisted to stay housed. That project is funded by the EAF homelessness prevention funding that is set to be cut or not renewed in 2025. With the care court and the EAF HP funding alone, that's $433,133 that we're losing. And the commission has the chance to fill these funding holes specifically created by the loss of state bar funding, as well as balance out the austerity of federal and local funding. So I encourage the commission to use the funds for what they're meant to be for, to continue the services that we're providing. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other folks?
Yes, hi, this is Andy Imperato with Disability Rights California. I'm the executive director. And first, I just wanted to thank Dewan and the staff from the commission and Erica for having the meeting last month, where you gave us an opportunity to hear kind of the different options and the rationale behind the different options. As a newish executive director, I learned a lot from that. So thank you for making time to do that. You know, what I came away from that conversation believing is that option A is actually a conservative option and a prudent option. If you couple that with the fact that we have 4 years to spend the money, I think that's going to help us smooth out the ups and downs of IOLTA funding, which I think is in the best interest of our clients and our staff. So we strongly support the recommendation to go with option A that you've heard from my colleagues in the grantee community. Like them, we're going to be losing funding around housing stability. We also have had reductions in our federal funding based on population changes in California. And we're very worried about the national elections and what that might mean for our federal funding moving forward. So again, we strongly support option A, and we're grateful for the opportunity to learn more about your thinking and to make this public comment today. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Andy. I'm glad that the workshop or the meeting was helpful.
Definitely.
Other public comments?
Hello. Can you all hear me?
Kate?
Hi.
Kate
Yes,
Marr?
hi.
Yeah.
Yes,
Go ahead.
hi.
We could hear you, but now I can't.
Okay, I'm unmuted again.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Kate Marr. I am the executive director at Community Legal Aid SoCal, an organization serving both Orange and Los Angeles counties. Thank you for the opportunity to comment today. Surprise, surprise, Community Legal Aid SoCal also supports option A. We will be significantly challenged in 2025 by the end of homelessness prevention funding, COVID funding, and reduction in VOCA funding. We anticipate that more than $4 million in revenue that we've received in 2023 and 2024 will be discontinued as of January 1st. We know, obviously, that we are not the only legal aid organization to be faced with this fiscal cliff. The reduction in funding for us will particularly impact our housing, public benefits, family law, and seniors units. In addition to our particular challenges, our partners, particularly at domestic violence service providers, are facing dire funding shortfalls that impact their ability to provide internal legal assistance to their clients, and we are helping to fill this gap. We ask that the commission vote for option A as a way of giving CLA SoCal and our sister organizations time to strategically ramp down from COVID era funding and trust in our ability to manage carryover efficiently and effectively to best serve our constituents. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate. Appreciate the comment. Anyone else?
Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Joanne Franciscus. I'm the CEO and Executive Director of the Legal Aid Society of San Diego, or LASSD for short. We are, of course, the State Bar grantee and IOLTA recipient, and we are the largest provider of free legal services in San Diego County. With regard to item 4.2, I thank you for the opportunity to comment and urge that you adopt option A with the $272 million IOLTA distribution over the 4-year period. Legal service providers like LASSD have never had enough funding to fully address the needs of our communities. And on top of that, this year and next, LASSD is facing significant cuts to our existing funding. Our State Bar homelessness prevention grants are ending, as is our Cal FHA foreclosure prevention grant. We have insufficient funding to sustain our current SSI and health law services. Last year, we suffered an unexpected loss of immigration funding through CDSS, which will impact us for at least 2 years going forward. And most notably, much of the federal money that we received to respond to COVID-19, including ARPA and CDBG-CV funding, has or is close to drying up, despite the effects from COVID being far from over. Option A will ensure that legal service providers like LASSD can avoid an interruption of services in the areas such as eviction prevention, consumer protection, government benefits, immigration services, unemployment insurance benefits, and domestic violence prevention at a time when these services are still desperately needed. It will allow us to be proactive instead of reactive in our efforts to address gaps in funding, address recruitment and retention challenges, and to make longer-term staffing plans that are essential to the continued provision of quality legal services. In short, option A is the most appropriate way to ensure continued access to justice for indigent and vulnerable populations who are depending on us for these critical services. We appreciate the Commission's careful consideration of this item. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. Anyone else?
Kim, could you unmute? Yeah, thanks.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Paul, we can hear you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul Briley. I'm the Executive Director of Legal Services for Prisoners with Children. And LSPC supports option A because we need the funds now to meet the needs of our incarcerated population. And our HP grant is actually ending this month. And foundation funding, which has been unpredictable since the start of the pandemic, is made further uncertain as we face the coming national election. We also know that with the state budget crisis upon us, that it is our most vulnerable citizens, including those who are currently informally incarcerated, who suffer the most. Thank you for listening and thank you for consideration.
Thanks, Paul. Other folks?
Selena has her hand up, Erica.
Yeah, I was gonna. Sorry, go ahead, Selena. I know you kind of had your hand up and down, so
I'm
I
happy
to
to
make sure you get a chance.
Happy to be
No,
last.
it's fine.
I mean, my comment is exactly what you would expect. We are in support of option A. We actually think the State Bar staff has done an amazing job predicting what is likely to happen under option A, with some conservatism built in with a projected loss in the total IOLTA pot. And so if the procedure for for approving funding for the following year is supposed to be based on what we believe is the reality of funds that would come in the current year. I think they've done a fantastic job of predicting what is likely to happen in 2024 with our IOLTA revenue. So that is why we support option A. We think that one's the one most based on fact. And I forgot to identify myself for people who may just be listening and not watching. Selena Copeland, Executive Director of the Legal Aid Association of California.
Thanks, Selena. Kim, is there anyone else?
Good afternoon.
afternoon.
There are 8 people in the queue, Erica. I don't know if you could
They
see
should
it.
be able to
There's more
speak.
people.
Law Foundation of Silicon Valley.
That would
Great.
be me.
Hi.
Good afternoon, members of the commission. I'm Maria Vasquez Mata, Chief Operating Officer at Law Foundation of Silicon Valley. Today, I'm here to express our strong support for option A. Our organization has recently faced significant financial challenges, and we believe that option A provides the necessary flexibility to navigate these difficult times, while also ensuring we remain humane in our decisions impacting our staff and client community. We have recently lost major funding sources from Boca, City of San Jose, which were crucial to our operations. Their loss has created a significant gap in our budget. In addition, as other folks have already shared, we anticipate a substantial reduction in funding from the HP grants. This is further compounding our financial challenges, making it imperative that we have the flexibility to adapt and manage our resources effectively. The decision to support option A is not only a strategic choice, but a rational one, given the commission's decision-making process and outcomes over the past year. Supporting option A is not just a matter of preference, it is a necessity for our organization's survival and our ability to serve our community with compassion and care. The recent and upcoming funding losses, coupled with the lessons learned from the pandemic funding, highlight the critical need for flexibility. And so with that, we respectfully request the commission's support for option A in this decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I see Diego.
Yes,
Are you
good
able-
afternoon, commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to comment. Very much appreciate this opportunity and deeply appreciate the work of the State Bar staff in providing excellent analysis and providing transparency for members of the legal aid community. My name is Diego Cartagena, and I'm the President and CEO of Pathetic Legal Services. And we are in favor of the selection of option A. As my colleagues and counterparts at other organizations have so eloquently stated, the State Bar IOLTA funding is truly one of the bright spots in what is otherwise, at best, a murky outlook on our financial position. Many of us have serious questions and concerns insofar as funding in 2025, not only insofar as philanthropic giving during election cycles, but also the outcome of the election. We are also all facing dire circumstances with a reduction of funding. We will be impacted insofar as our ability to engage in elder abuse prevention work as a result of the loss of VOCA funding. We are impacted in our ability to serve on an economic development front as a result of loss of ARPA funding. And we will be impacted in our ability to serve older community members and their ability to stay housed as a result of loss of HP funding. And so these are critical sources of funds that IOLTA can help backfill and provide security and stability for many of our community members. We thank you for this opportunity.
Great, thanks. I finally found the list with all the hands, so now I can actually call on people. Caitlin.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Chan, and I'm the Executive Director at Legal Assistance for Seniors in Oakland. Thank you all so much for the work that you do and for the opportunity to comment. I wanted to echo that the meeting a few weeks ago was very helpful, and that my takeaway was also that option A is still a conservative option given the current circumstances. As is the case for many others, we have never had the resources to meet the need in our communities. And this is a time when we need to be increasing our services, not decreasing them, as the older adult population continues to surge. In 2025, as with so many other organizations, we will have lost HP funding, face reductions in VOCA funding, as well as ARPA and OARR funding ending. So we would really appreciate the use of the funds now for client and staff needs. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Kimberly Rasmussen. Kimberly, I don't know, I'm not sure if you're, we can't hear you. Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay,
Thank you.
sorry. Thank you.
No problem.
Yes, so I'm speaking on behalf of the Alliance for Children's Rights, and I want to thank everyone for their time today. We also would like to strongly advocate for option A, and just stress the need for the support, particularly given a lot of what we heard today. The HP funding was a significant source of funding for us, and also just amid the reality of rising costs in general. This is coming at a critical time. And this increased funding would help us in order to provide access to legal services for the young people in foster care in LA County, whose rights and opportunities would otherwise be overlooked. So thank you for considering.
Thank you. Sandra Chung.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I could hear you say hello, but now I'm not sure if you're talking.
Try again. What about now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to provide public comment. My name is Sandra Chung. I am the Chief Operating Officer at Neighborhood Legal Services of Los Angeles County. We serve one of the most underserved areas in Los Angeles, focusing on the Antelope Valley, San Fernando Valley, and the San Gabriel Valley. We too support option A. Currently, this year, we are losing about $2 million in funding, and we are still waiting to hear from funders on additional fundings that may be cut. The funding ranges from State Bar HP funding as well as COVID funding as well. We are facing a very significant deficit for 2025, and we've already been making a lot of really difficult decisions. For example, we've been addressing it through attrition. We haven't been replacing positions. We have also had to make very difficult decisions in terminating positions. We're already having conversations about how our funding situation will impact our program priorities in 2024. So without this funding, we're not only jeopardizing the very needed critical services to the community, and it would increase the already very large justice gap, but it's also impacting our legal aid workforce and their job stability. So we really encourage folks to really consider option A. Thank you.
Thank you. Maeve Brown.
Lovely. Hi there. Thank you so much for this meeting. Ditto the positive comments about how much great information State Bar staff shared with us already about the rationale for calculations and how things look. And I will also introduce myself fully. So I'm Mabel Elise Brown. I'm the Executive Director of Housing and Economic Rights Advocates. And we are also in support of option A because, and several of our other colleagues and other organizations have said this, we actually think it is a fairly conservative calculation already. And because the need right now is tremendous, not only because the need of the public continues unabated. We get about 750 calls a month into our office at this point. It's not slowing down. And I want to comment on the availability or lack thereof of other funds. Obviously, and I'm sure like other directors in this meeting, we knew what the end date was on our grant agreements. And we have not been sitting around not looking for money to replace it. We have been actively looking. I'm sure colleagues have been as well. So, on the plus side, we've had small amounts, drips and drabs of some funding come in, say from local community development block grants, CDBG funds. And when I say small, I mean less than $20,000. It's small for a $3.4 million budget and for the projected loss of a huge amount of HP funding. And things still up in the air for homeowner assistance, though I'm keeping my fingers crossed for something good to come through on that front. So we're kind of on pins and needles about whether we also need to actively give notice to people pretty quickly. Who are focused primarily, it's the work that's the non-home, because I'm an optimist at heart. I'm fairly optimistic that there might be other funding that'll come through from great advocacy from colleagues with the state for our homeownership preservation. I don't have any optimism in terms of the other sources. I don't know what the other sources are out there that could replace HP funding, much less replace it with the speed at which it needs to happen. And it's pretty inefficient for us to hire people, train them up, have them work through the pandemic, and then fire them, and then maybe raise some other money, rehire, attempt to rehire. I know a lot of our colleagues, we've been lucky with hiring during the pandemic. A lot of our colleagues have not been. So I think starting from scratch is also really it's burdensome, it's inefficient. Just know that we are all, and I'm sure collectively, actively looking for other funding. There was no foolish expectation that suddenly there was going to be a magic solution. Oops, and I have overtalked. Apologies.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Okay, Jimena Vasquez.
Hi, Commissioners. Thank you so much. My name is Jimena Vasquez, and I am the Director of Legal Services at the Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice, which provides legal services to victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. I'm here also to express my strong support for Option A in the 2025 IOLTA distribution. The year 2025 promises to be financially challenging for numerous organizations that you've already heard from, including mine. The termination of HP funds and anticipated 40% cut to the Victims of Crime Act funding will exacerbate our fiscal strain. At LACLJ, we've already endured severe impacts from VOCA cuts, losing over $200,000 in critical funding, and the ending of HP will result in an additional loss of $300,000. So we've already had to make layoffs and limit new intake. So IOLTA funding is not just important, it is essential. It provides core funding and offers the flexibility we need to sustain and cover essential programs that have been hardest hit by these funding reductions. Supporting Option A is a step towards ensuring that organizations like mine can continue to provide vital legal services to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Adriana?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you so much for your work and your dedication to access for justice for all of our communities. My name is Adriana Mendoza, and I am the Administrative Director at the Watsonville Law Center. It's a nonprofit in the Central Coast, Monterey County, Santa Cruz County, and San Benito County, serving the community. We are in support of Option A. Our organization is often left out of any funding. Rural communities are the ones that are hit the hardest when funding is reduced. And like other organizations, funding for next year will be reduced for all of us. Well, that will mean double impact for our community. In our area, the Law Center is often the organization that can only serve undocumented community, immigrant community, which has been historically left out of many things, including funding during the pandemic, funding before the pandemic, and now funding after the pandemic. Reducing any funding to our organization reduces the ability for us to serve, yet we don't know what's going to happen after the election, and we're going to be the ones responding to that result of the election. And so this prepares us to be better prepared to be able to respond to our community and the community's needs. We cannot talk about access to justice without putting funding and without truly investing in access to justice. So I encourage and I strongly ask that you support option A, because that's going to impact every member of our community. And we have the highest undocumented per capita in Monterey County. So we have a lot of community members who are often needing those resources, the services, like a small organization like ours. So thank you for your time, and I hope that you support option A.
Thank you. Phil?
I think it's Claudia, America.
Hi, Claudia's here. So this is Claudia Center. I'm the legal director at Disability Rights Education and Defense Fund, which is a support center. And I strongly agree with all my colleagues who've made public comment and want to strongly encourage you all to select scenario A. Like my colleagues, we are adapting to the end of the HP funds. One of our large private grantees, a large grant, is ending. We are still sort of putting our litigation docket back together from the pandemic, when we had to spend all of our time responding to the disability community needs during the pandemic, rather than doing our typical mix of projects. And I also just want to flag the generational change that the sector is going through. So we are, continuing to employ very senior attorneys who are, slowly thinking about retirement, and we're trying to recruit younger, more diverse lawyers who are helping us serve more and more diverse indigent Californians. And we are spending a lot of time and money on the infrastructure that we need to retain those new lawyers. We're probably going to have to, or we want to, join the LRAP program sponsored by or organized by the California Access to Justice Commission. We're looking into a health reimbursement account for mental health services. We're going to lose our younger attorneys while we're trying to do this generational shift where we have all the lawyers at once. We really need the flexibility to build in those benefits and supervision we need to get through and be, thrive and strong for the future of legal aid. Thank you.
Thank you. Randy?
Yes, hello. Thank you very much. This is Randy Sunshine. I'm the Executive Director of Learning Rights Law Center in Los Angeles. Along with my peers, I would like to recommend option 1. Here at Learning Rights Law Center, we find ourselves with an increasing number of students facing educational injustice after the pandemic, students with disabilities. The IOLTA funding is the most steady funding we have that supports the core operating expenses in order to do this work. Foundation funding for us has been stagnant. And IOLTA funding gives us the opportunity to retain staff and bring in the administrative staff that's important to be able to do the infrastructure work that is necessary to continue to receive these higher fundings. So thank you very, very much for the opportunity to speak. And once again, option 1. Thank you.
Hello, I'm sorry. I'm Phil Huang. I'm the CEO of One Justice, and I just wanted to share some data from One Justice and Legal Aid Association of California. We did a survey of legal aid organizations in April just to ask about their financial outlook, and there was a material change in the number of organizations that were worried or very worried about their financial outlook. When we asked the question a year ago, 3% of organizations were concerned. that number jumped to 42% of organizations in April. There's some data in the survey that I just wanted to share. I think you've already seen some of the data in your packet, but there's one key piece that I just wanted to share that wasn't included in the packet, which is how are organizations anticipating managing their drop in funding? And in the next 12 months, 36% of organizations were considering decreasing staff. So some of what you've heard today is reflective of what's on the minds of organizations, but an additional 29% were unsure. So it could be from 36% to 65% of organizations may have to put a decrease in staffing on the table as a way of addressing the funding shortfalls. And that immediately translates into a reduction of services in communities across the state. So that ultimately may be one of the choices and concrete results of whatever decision is made today, is just some of the impacts that organizations are dealing with. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see anyone else with hands raised.
Catherine has her hand raised, Erica.
Oh, okay. Catherine?
I actually, since I saw that was the end of the queue for the programs, I just wanted to thank my former colleagues and the colleagues of other people on this commission for taking the time to share their experiences and their worries about the future. And I found it to be powerful and humbling a bit. So I just wanted to express my appreciation to everyone who spoke and those who submitted letters. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point. So I know we're going to get into kind of the meaty part of the presentation, but we've been going for almost 2 hours. So I'm going to suggest, actually, why don't we take a 5-minute bio break and let everyone kind of refresh, and then we can get in and dig into it. Is that okay? Okay. So let's come back at about 1:50.